If you guys didn't see last night, Dr. Allen dropped his manifesto. It said 30-minute read. I don't think it took about 30 minutes. I think it took like 20 minutes maybe. I read all of it and I read all the accounts of all the people. I read basically everything that I could find. Can I just say that after reading this, my first thought is Nintendo is so whack and they really just got away with it all, kind of. When I was reading this whole thing, I was like, you know, if they just didn't cancel the Smash World Tour finals, this would have all just been more background noise. Because I don't know if you guys know, but this, like, you know, people all hate each other and they're grumpy with each other and this guy wants that and they all want this and they're arguing, but they managed to get the job done is extremely normal in like most communities. I feel like it's mostly Nintendo canceling the finals that makes this all a problem. People are saying, didn't they actually not cancel it? You have to just like really think about this for a second. If Nintendo says, we're not telling you can't run it, but if you don't have a license, you're not allowed to run it. And you say, okay, may I have a license? And they say no. They say, okay, well, before I used to run the event without a license at all. Is that okay? And they say those times are over. So you're saying, so I have to cancel my event. They're like, no. But if you don't have a license, you can't run it. And you're like, can I have a license? They're like, absolutely not. That's how it works, right? You understand? That is a very roundabout way of basically doing it. And they don't want to put themselves in a bad spot by specifically saying you can't run it, because then people will get upset with them. So I read the whole statement. I'm sure a lot of you saw it. If you are interested in it, I highly recommend just reading the whole thing. Because first of all, like if you want to shit on anybody, but you don't want to read anything, you're whack. Also, anybody who's like trying to dig into his address or like whatever people are doing, that is so whack. Don't do that shit. Don't be weird. Now, it turns out that even after reading it all, it didn't sway me that much. There are things about it that I found interesting. But the first thing that you should know if you didn't read it is that at the very beginning of the statement, he basically is like, yeah, I am no longer the CEO of Panda, and I'm looking for people to buy out all my stocks so that I'm not involved at all. Essentially trying to be like, yeah, I'm trying to get out of the way because I think Panda is still dope and they should still do cool stuff. I cannot imagine who would want to buy, though, is the thing. Most of the ire was always kind of directed at Allen and not Panda themselves. But I also don't know that Panda has, I don't know, it seems tough to kind of dig your way out of this. I do believe one part about this that gets mentioned pretty early, which is that Gimmer, all the VG Bootcamp people, Allen, and probably Hotbit, I guess, all don't like they don't like each other. There's a lot of fighting there. I totally believe all that. That sounds completely logical to me, given that relationships behind the scenes in most things like this have stuff like this, where lots of people are friendly, and then there are people who really just get at each other. And despite that, things just get done. Even when people are like, I fucking hate that guy. I guess I hope his event goes okay because I like the video game, but also if it doesn't, fuck him. This is extremely common in all work relationships. I'm sure you guys have people you work with where you just despise them, but you have to work with them to get stuff done. And you just think, how is this person so shitty at their job that they can exist? And then you have to work with them all the time. One thing that keeps coming, I keep seeing people say, where is the threat? I think like it's pretty clear what the threat is, no? In fact, I think in his own statement, he posted a screenshot with the threat. When he posted the screenshot that was just like, hey, you know, our deal didn't work out and that's a shame. And then like a few days later, he's like, hey, I talked to Nintendo and like, you know, they said like, I don't know, there might be a problem with rights holders and stuff, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Is that not just immediately clear why that's a problem? And like constantly basically saying, oh yeah, don't worry, the Smash World Tour is definitely not going to be around. It's not sticking around. And me, like we're licensed, so you know we're good, but those guys not licensed, if you know what if you catch my drip. Like, I understand why you may say that's not in clear words like, hey, you fucking do this or I'll sink you to the bottom of the ocean. Like, sure. But I think it's pretty clear given that they are like the sole person getting licensing from Nintendo. So obviously they have a lot of power there, and that they are like the circuit that is certified and being run and it's A-OK by Big N, who nobody fucking trusts or likes, by the way. You have to remember this. People don't like Nintendo. They don't trust them, and they shut shit down and do bad stuff all the time. Case in point, Smash World Tour and Big House and Evo and everything else that they've ever done. I could believe that he doesn't see it as threatening, but it is extremely threatening to everybody else to say, hey, I talked with Nintendo and, you know, this is how they feel. Like things could get dicey, but, you know, if you ever want to rejoin us, you just let me know. Saying, yo, I talked to Nintendo is basically like saying, I got a couple of guys outside. tough as nails, but you can just sign that contract and it'll all go away. He's giving scouting reports to Saruman and the Uruk-hai. Yeah, like just visiting the eye and being like, they've been moseying to the west, by the way. Just a lot of people, I don't know why this always happens with statements. There's like a lot of screenshots in here, and so many people were like, dude, he's got so many screenshots. Most of the screenshots are like him being like, hey, I would love to get on a business meeting, and that'd be chipper A-okay. And yeah, I mean, I do think that what Alan was trying to do struck me as like he thought it was the best choice. It seems like he believed in his vision a lot. Does that really matter to evidence at all? I don't know that that really matters. Particularly because even people who are in these screenshots that are like, sure, yeah, we can talk, that sounds great, came out later and were like, oh yeah, this dude said this, and this, and it was not good. Almost all of them say something along the lines of, he said that Smash World Tour was going to get kicked to the curb and be just done, and that we should join them. And then lots and lots of people have something along the lines of, oh yeah, he said he was going to buy out all the tournaments or buy out everything and just own all of Smash. And you know, in regards to just like buying out everything, it doesn't stop at just Smash from what I have been privy to. Smash is not the only thing that he was like, I'll just buy it all out and we'll run all of it. And I mean, it's like corroborated a few times that he went pretty hard in the paint in the phone call. I could totally imagine that the offer was either not what they wanted or not good. And Ken was basically just like, no, I'm not interested. And you know, guys, I had a meeting with Panda and I said no to Panda. And I gotta say, reading the accounts of the phone call and seeing like, oh, how come you don't want to join the thing that we're doing? It's the greatest thing ever. You're just wrong. I gotta say, that's very believable to me. That makes perfect sense based on the conversations everybody sort of cited with him and my meeting as well. Big fan of like the, hey, I might have messed up. That's my bad for everybody except Ken. Fuck that guy. I kind of like that energy. It really is like, you're cool, fuck you, you're cool, and I'm out. It must feel good to just like shit on somebody who you really don't like. And he finally got to do it. That made literally every person come out and be like, wait, I actually really respect Ken. I also have only had good experiences with Ken. And everybody I know who has ever worked with him had lots of really good things to say. And I cannot say the same in reverse. Yeah, I also think in his statement, him saying, whoever that LD guy is was like pretty bad. Even if you don't know who he is, which I don't know if I believe he doesn't know who he is, like you could just look. I didn't expect Alan's statement to like make him look good in all this. I think his statement was at best gonna be like, hey, also fuck VG Bootcamp and BTS, right? That was like the most likely outcome of the statement. So like I did see people who are like, let's wait for Alan's side. Maybe he didn't fuck up anything. And I'm like, dude, his statement's not going to be like, I didn't do anything wrong. His statement's going to be like, fuck VG Bootcamp and BTS, yo, I'm out. Because he already like gave up his CEO position. He's trying to sell his stocks. Like the statement was going to be inflammatory no matter what, basically, right? And I don't know that I think it sinks either. In fact, I think it did the opposite. So many people came out to defend Ken specifically. And I don't think BTS looks any worse at all, really. Maybe at best you're like a little bit mad at VG Bootcamp, but I'm not sure exactly what you would be mad at them for. If you believe that they purposely did 2 years of Smash World Tour and then got the finals canceled to like bury Panda, you got to be on some shit to find that credible, probably. I think like you could try and be mad maybe that they got Panda so involved in the statement and like Panda took a hit. I think it sucks that Panda got hit so bad, but I don't know. I mean, everybody who was going to work the Smash World Tour event also got smoked. I don't think their intention, they never said Panda the org is so shitty. It was really just Alan did this, Alan did that. I don't come away thinking like super badly of Alan after his statement. It's like basically the same to me. I really was just like, yeah, I think he tried to make it work, and like the way he tried to do it just was not correct with what everybody else wanted. The most likely scenario, unfortunately, was always either the Nintendo and Panda relationship leads to like the best case scenario and everybody's really cool and like the licensing stuff's really great, or it just fucking destroys the bridge. Like the bridge is just dead between Nintendo and competitive Smash afterwards. Those are two very likely outcomes, and I think it's pretty clear which one you end up with after this is over. Yeah, I think everybody knows somebody like this too, maybe. Somebody who really believes in the stuff that they're doing, and they're going a little too hard in the paint about it. They don't always have as much power as Alan has, but if you really believe in the shit that you're doing, and you're just like, yeah, like it can be a bit much. Every company needs like a guy whose job it is to just be in the community and do nothing else. And you just go to that dude and you're like, should we do this? And they're like, hell no, that sounds whack as fuck. And just check you when things like this happen. Like, do you think we should make it so that everybody has to wear turtleneck sweaters and khaki pants and can't wear their esports jerseys? They're like, brother, are you okay? I really think that so much of this sounds like petty squabbles that happen with other TOs and other scenes too, and it's very normal. But people just like kind of suck it up and make it work. The determining factor that messed it all up this time was Nintendo. Even if you really don't fuck with Alan, you hate to see it because Nintendo deserves a little bit more smoke. Notice that the tours continued to both operate for like 2 years, and they would have operated next year if like this shutdown didn't happen. Like they would have just figured it out and run, is the reality, right? If the event didn't get shut down, PG would still be an org and they would run Smash World Tour 2022. And even if they never gave them a license, they would run Smash World Tour 2023. PG and Ken and Gimmer would be sitting there throwing darts at each other's faces on like a piece of paper in their own homes, but there would be no problems. Like the events would run. Yeah, you know, Blur, you saying like, hey, you FGC guys don't know how good you have it. No, they don't. I know how good we have it, but no, they do not. I don't think people realize that having an ecosystem where our tournaments are allowed to like exist with 10, 15 different games and like having pro tours overlap from multiple different companies at the same time at same events or not overlap, like sometimes they're all there, sometimes they're not, is pretty unreal. I do feel bad for all the Panda staff that are now jobless because boy, I think a lot of people didn't fuck with Panda for a lot of reasons. Like you didn't like Alan or their content or the stuff that they were doing, or like there was something about them you didn't like, but boy, did they employ a shit ton of people. And you probably like some of the people they employed, like whether it's their staff or people who do stats or commentators or their content creators or their streamers or their players or just like literally anything you can think of in the community. They probably pay someone pretty good money to do something. So the amount of people who like had a working job and then now don't is like pretty staggering. That's a great question. How does Leffen play into this? Yeah, I'm waiting for the part where it's all Leffen's fault. That will come up eventually. Sooner rather than later, somehow it'll be Leffen's fault. Listen. Do you know how many other wrestling coaches fucking hated each other? People would come up and they'd be like, it's nice to see you there, buddy. And they would talk to each other. And then when they walked away, my coach would just go, I fucking hate that guy. I never want to come to one of his events again. He's just lucky that this person gave him this big event and it's worth so many points for seeding in the finals of this. And he would just be so mad and hate that guy and be like, his event sucks. We run a better event. My coach was spitting though. The tournament ran like shit.